Happy Good Friday and welcome to Cronkite Sports Live. I'm Jack Harris, he's Rob Werner, and Rob, a lot of ASU athletics to get to, but it's been 5 days and I still cannot get over what Tiger did at the Masters.
It was incredible, and it's actually why I'm wearing the Stanford red today.
I like it, yeah.
I felt like it was such an incredible performance that I had to bring out some red, even though I'm not normally a golf fan, don't know a ton about golf. I think that might change, though, when we talk about it a lot on this episode, though.
Yeah, definitely. No, that was a moment that all sports fans could rally around. Him hugging his kids, going down the 18th fairway, again, all in that iconic red. But there was some maroon and gold triumph on the links as well last weekend as ASU's men's golf team hosted a deep field with some of the country's best teams at the Thunderbird Collegiate and blew them all away. Our Spencer Hardenberg was there with the story.
Arizona State men's golf came back to the clubhouse last weekend with their third consecutive tournament win as they finished first in the Thunderbird Invitational at their own home, Papago Golf Course in Phoenix. The tournament was Arizona State's to lose from the very beginning. They finished day one up double-digit strokes and won the tournament with a score of 20 under, 12 better than next best Texas.
It feels great. It was a great, program win. We won by a lot. The course was wonderful. All the volunteers, support, fans, parents. I think everybody had a great time. It was a nice tournament.
The victory was fueled by top 20 finishes from Blake Wagner and Mason Anderson, and a one-over finish from Alex Del Rey. But the leader of the squad last weekend was Kevin Yu, as he finished with a final score of 12 under and was the tournament's individual champion.
He's just an amazingly steady, consistent person. Focus is there on every shot, every round, every tournament, over and over and over again. He doesn't make big mistakes. When he gets a bad break, he manages to limit the losses, and when he gets a good break, he takes advantage. He's just really playing well, and he's an awesome player. And so he didn't do anything too special today either. He just kind of was being Kevin. The most amazing thing about Kevin is he's locked in every day, and he's been frustrated he hasn't won because he's been playing so well, and it just hadn't kind of come together. And he plays with that same intensity all the time, and he prepared well for this tournament and was ready to go, and it showed.
Coming off this win, the Sun Devils go into the Pac-12 tournament the hottest team in the entire country. Their timely winning streak, however, will not be what separates ASU when the tournament starts on April 22nd. The scariest thing about this squad is their depth. This was showcased by the Sun Devils B group, which placed fourth themselves in the tournament, tying with number one ranked Oklahoma State.
I mean, we've been really deep all year, and 5, 6, 7 guys that can win a tournament. I love those guys playing great like that. That's what I challenge them to do. They're proud of being able to play as a team and see where they stack up with these teams. Pretty cool to see the depth we have.
Arizona State sits on top as the favorite to win the Pac-12 tournament, and Matt Thurman's squad certainly seems ready for the pressure and up to the challenge. For Cronkite Sports, I'm Spencer Hardenberg.
The ASU men tee off in Eugene on Monday in what will be a loaded field at the Pac-12 championship, including number 18 Stanford, number 14 Cal, and defending conference champ number 6 USC. ASU will be hunting for its first league crown under Thurman, trying to end a Tiger-esque title drought that dates back to 2008. Meanwhile, the Sun Devils women's team came this close to winning a Pac-12 championship of their own last weekend, finishing second as a team behind USC. ASU didn't walk away empty-handed, though, as junior Olivia Mahaffey claimed the league's individual championship in dramatic fashion on Wednesday, overcoming a 4-stroke deficit during the final round before winning in a playoff against Stanford's Albane Valenzuela. She became the first ASU woman to win the conference tournament since 2016.
After ASU baseball's 25-1 start to 2019, the team hit a rut. The Sun Devils lost 4 of 5 games, including a midweek matchup against a 3-win Long Beach State team, followed by ASU's first series defeat of the season to a USC team that ended the weekend 8 games below 500. This past week, the Sun Devils had to host the defending national champions and current number 2 ranked Oregon State Beavers in a 3-game set. It was an extremely close series in which both teams combined for 11 runs, and the Sun Devils actually out-hit the Beavers 27-24. But it was Oregon State who took home 2 wins and handed ASU its first series defeat at home this season. Jack Lauderay has more on the hard-fought series and what it could mean for ASU's season.
The last 2 weeks have been less than ideal for head coach Tracy Smith and the ASU baseball team. Losing 6 of their last 9 games after the sweep of Arizona, the Devils are looking to turn it around. After a disastrous loss to UNLV, giving up 6 runs in the bottom of the 9th, ASU surrendered 2 close defeats to the defending champs, the Oregon State Beavers. Although close and hard fought, there is one common denominator that remains for the Sun Devils in this stretch of losses: small miscues and mental mistakes. As head coach Tracy Smith explains.
Well, I mean, as a competitor, there's no, you don't really take a lot of solace in moral victories. But, I liked, the thing I would say on the weekend in general is I liked our effort. Like, I liked how hard we played. What I didn't like was the execution or lack thereof. I thought we were sloppy at times. We made a couple mistakes there in the 5th, getting crossed up on signals. And when you take teams that are that evenly matched, it's going to be one thing like that.
The Devils are already on the right track, defeating Seattle on Tuesday, and now they set their sights on Utah this weekend. Reporting at Phoenix Municipal Stadium, Jack Lotteray, Cronkite Sports.
The Arizona State gymnastics team will not compete again until next winter, but one Gym Devil has a meet left this season. Sophomore Kyra Leonard Baker has been a star in her first 2 years in Tempe, and today she'll compete amongst the nation's best at nationals in Fort Worth, Texas. An absolute stud on the uneven bars, the Oakland, California native finished the regular season ranked 11th in the event and scored a 9.925 as she took first place in the Baton Rouge Regional last week. Leonard Baker will look to impress on what has been her best event all season long. More than 100 miles away from her teammates, Leonard Baker will look to represent the maroon and gold with a stuck full in dismount as she'll compete with Oklahoma's group today at 4:30.
The NBA playoff season right now, so you know what that means. The NBA draft right around the corner. 2 Arizona State Sun Devils trying to get drafted this year. And for more on that, we bring in our basketball analyst, Chancellor Johnson. And Chance, let's start with Lugan Stort, the one-and-done guard. A lot of hype around him this year in Tempe, but what do scouts like most about his game?
Yeah, the thing about Dort is he's 6'5", 220, and looks like he belongs in the SEC backfield. That's what he is physically, but we'll talk about him, his skill set on the basketball court. Now, his calling card and what the thing that makes scouts drool about him is his defense. You'll see it right here. And he's matched up against Washington's player, Jalen Noel. Now, right here, he gets beat on the play, and most players would rely on their help, who would in this case be Romello White, but nope, not Dort. He recovers and gets the block on Jalen Noel. And, what scouts see in him is kind of like that Marcus Smart guy.
Yeah.
Big, physical, but defensively is where he'll make a lot of his money at.
Yeah, what about on the offensive end here? What stands out here?
Now, as you see here, he just beat the California guard off the dribble, and now he's attacking the paint and looking to finish over their post player. And that's what he does a lot, his ability to create off the bounce, gets to the rim, and finish right through there through contact.
Yeah, a lot of body control right there from him, too. He's not going to have a lot of control about where he goes in the draft, but are there certain teams that kind of stand out to you as a good fit for him?
Yeah, so for Dort, they have him projected at, late first round, early second round. You'll see here through the graphics, some of the teams that you see him listed as was through the Celtics, Brooklyn, and the Spurs. As I mentioned, kind of like that Marcus Smart player who the Celtics have. Brooklyn, I like the fit in Brooklyn as well, too. A very young team, great guards there. But my favorite right now is right there in the Lone Star State of San Antonio with Greg Popovich and, of course, the San Antonio Spurs. Now, in that system, he'll be behind a few guards, Patty Mills, DeJounte Murray, of course, Derek White. But, the thing about San Antonio is we know they love foreign-born players, and, of course, they're a developmental system. I'm sure they could probably even fix your jumper, man.
Oh, yeah. I don't think they'd be taking me at 29. I'd have to go undrafted route.
Absolutely.
Zylan Cheatham might have to go the undrafted route, too, the ASU senior. Maybe he can slip into the back end of the second round, but it looks like he's going to have a pro career ahead of him. What is it about his game that's going to allow him to get to the next level?
Yeah, he's a lot similar to Lugan Stort in regards of his athleticism and his defense. Here at Arizona State, in his 1 year here, he showed the ability to guard multiple positions, even sometimes checking on the smaller guards in the Pac-12, like Kelly Wright at the point guard position, even all the way to the post. So that's what scouts like about in him. And of course, as we talk about the athleticism, I think, I don't know if he'll get drafted, but I think he'll definitely have the opportunity to go somewhere this summer, work out for a few teams, and make his mark somewhere in the summer league. And I wouldn't be surprised if you see him on a few top 10 highlights this summer.
Yeah, no doubt about that. He did that this year, filled up the box score a lot too, as you can see right there. So we'll see. Not many years, you get 2 ASU players thinking about trying to get to the next level. We'll find out about them in a couple months. Chance, thanks for coming on.
Absolutely.
After a 27-8 start to the season for Arizona State softball, the team has hit a bit of a rough stretch. ASU has lost 9 consecutive games and 3 consecutive series to rival Arizona, UCLA, and Washington. The team started the season ranked at number 12 in the preseason, and since then it's gone a little bit downhill. For more, we bring in WCSN softball expert and softball reporter Jack Johnson. Jack, thanks for being here and getting right into it. ASU has had one of the best offenses in the nation during the non-conference schedule, scoring just about 8 runs a game. During the past 9 games, though, they've struggled, been shut out 6 times and scoring just over 1 run per game. What do you think's changed?
Well, it's been the competition, Rob. You know, as you alluded to, they had the best record in the preseason, or they had a strong performance in the preseason before they got into Pac-12 play. Well, simply, the competition's gotten better. You know, you're playing smaller market teams and smaller college teams during the preseason. Then you move out to Pac-12 play, it's going to get a lot more complicated. They play UCLA, Washington, and Arizona, and they struggled against those teams. But again, everyone struggles against UCLA. Arizona's off to one of their best starts in program history, and Washington is no slouch either, and that was in the midst of an 0-6 skid for Arizona State. Now 0-9 over their last 9 games. They haven't won a game in over a month. It's been the competition, so if they can get back to just relaxing, playing their style of offense where it's one after the other and everyone's that's like the next woman up for this team, that's how their offense works. It's been kind of out of sync since then, but once they get back to Tempe in their next series, they'll be able to settle in, let's hope, and get going again.
So this was a team that made the College World Series last year on the heels of its pitching and the pitching dominance of G. Juarez, along with Dale Rindock and senior starter Brianna Maha. 3 pitchers who are not with the program anymore, and the new staff seems like it's taken a little bit longer to fully develop. What's been going on there?
Yeah, obviously the transfer of G. Juarez, that was something that no one at Arizona State expected. So they're going to have to rely a little more on the youngsters, Abby Anderson and Michaela Santa Cruz, both freshman pitchers. And Anderson at times has struggled. She's looked a little bit flustered on the mound, again, as I mentioned, against the bigger competition like a UCLA who hits for such power, like a Washington. And Santa Cruz, in my opinion, she throws the hardest on the team. But a lot of times there's not a lot of movement to that fastball. It's easy to make contact. When it makes contact, when it's coming that fast, it's likely going out of the park. But really the story for me, Rob, has been Cielo Meza. She was the Big West pitcher last year, but she struggled this season. She hasn't been up to the Sun Devils' expectation, and likewise, the pitching staff hasn't been up to their expectation.
So the Devils have the weekend off before they head to Palo Alto next weekend to take on a talented Stanford team that's 30-8 and pretty comparable to ASU, right outside the top 25 receiving votes. What do you expect that series to look like?
Well, you talk about teams moving in the opposite direction. Stanford with their best start since 2010. ASU has been in a rut as of late, going 0-9. So back to Tempe finally for the Devils. They're going to get a chance to come back home. Those freshman pitchers will relax a little more in front of that home crowd, but Stanford, they're no easy task. 30-8, as you mentioned. They're on a great start. They're up to about 3rd in the Pac-12. ASU down to 5th. So can ASU get back, settle in? Those freshman pitchers, can they settle in? Can Meza kind of get in the rhythm that she was showing the last 2 years? That'll be kind of the storyline going in. Again, ASU 0-9 in their last 9, so they got to get out of this rut eventually. So no better time than against good competition like Stanford in the Pac-12 Division I softball, Rob. You got to beat the best to be the best.
Thanks very much, Jack. And for all of his work and the coverage on Arizona State softball, head on over to cronkitesports.com and hit the softball section. Arizona State men's tennis moved up in the Oracle ITA rankings for the 3rd week in a row to number 27 in the nation, as the team has now won 6 consecutive matches, including victories over tough Pac-12 opponents in rival Arizona, along with Washington and Oregon. Last Sunday was the team's senior day and final home match of 2019, and the Sun Devils made quick work of number 44 Utah, sweeping the Utes 4-0. The match continued ASU's win streak, but it also gave the program and its fans a chance to thank one of the most consistent and winningest players in senior Justin Roberts for his contributions to the tennis program. WCSN tennis reporter Mason Kern has more.
On its senior day, Arizona State achieved revenge over Utah after losing on the road a year ago. In the process, Justin Roberts was honored in his last match in Tempe after transferring to the program from South Florida this past offseason. And he said the emotions of the day were a unique experience altogether.
Strange feeling. It's a good feeling, but it's a little strange. I didn't think I would be here 4 or 5 years ago when I got recruited to college. I was just happy that we got a W on my senior day, and it's been a pleasure to be a part of this community.
Roberts was recruited to USF by current ASU coach Matt Hill prior to his stint in the desert. They worked together for 2 years before his departure to head the new program at ASU, and Roberts followed suit, transferring to exhaust his final year of eligibility with the man who kickstarted his college career.
It's a pleasure to come and finish my career out with him here, and we have some more stuff to get done, but so far I'm just grateful to have the opportunity to have been here and to experience this.
Justin Roberts walked onto this court for the last time in Arizona State's 4-0 victory over Utah and was honored on his senior day. But Coach Matt Hill says his impact cannot be understated in his 1 year with the program.
It's special. I mean, it's something that you never would have dreamt of, you know. He's a special player in person, and there you have kids like that during your coaching tenure or coaching career that come along and they change, their program changers, you know, and Justin is 100% one of those guys.
Roberts has pioneered a precedent, a standard for what Hill wants his program to embody, and that impact will be felt for many seasons to come. Reporting in Tempe, Mason Kern, Cronkite Sports.
Now it's time for Sun Devil social media, and for this we welcome in our social media expert and analyst today, Bobby Kraus. Bobby, thanks for being here. What do you have for us?
Well, I had to make my social media debut before I graduate in a couple weeks, so happy to be here, guys. Thank you. So, Sun Devil Athletics, they do a great job of promoting their athletes' Twitter, trying to make the most of what their athletes have to offer. So, Sun Devil Baseball, they take this tweet, Mark Lidd, freshman infielder and pitcher, he hadn't been on Twitter yet. So Sun Devil Baseball blasts his Twitter handle for all their followers to see. Try to get him a following right from the jump. So there's his first tweet, April 17th. I'm, a man of many words, Mark Lidd. But here are the replies. I'm Batman, my personal favorite. I'm adorable from Jamie Smith, wife of Sun Devil Baseball head coach Tracy Smith. So guys, social media is very crucial for us journalists. It's very crucial to what we want to do for a career. But if you weren't in journalism, could you have made it to this point without Twitter? All the great things that we've seen on Twitter over the years, could you have missed out on it?
I made it. I think that I could have gone without Twitter if I wasn't doing sports journalism. I didn't have it until I got to Arizona State, and now I really like it, though. There's some good things that come with it. So I don't think I needed it, but I like it.
I needed it, yeah. I get a lot of news from Twitter. I'm on it way more than I should be, yeah.
It's therapy for a lot of us, it's very therapeutic. All right, so next tweet, Chris Gross, he's an associate AD at Penn State. He tweets out this map of the country with an interesting twist. The most terrifying sports mascots by state. We have Gritty and NJ Devil out east, Wally the Green Monster for Massachusetts. But who's that guy right down there in Arizona? It's none other than Sparky the Sun Devil. So the Sun Devils tweet out, "We see you, Sparky, Arizona State." All right, guys, so I'll pose the question to you. What's the most terrifying mascot in your opinion?
Terrifying the Philly Fanatic has always kind of given me the clues. It's not so much that he's scary, it's just like I don't really understand him that much. So yeah,
the Philly Fanatic's a good one because he is annoying. He throws popcorn at you, he gets under your skin. Doesn't matter if you're a fan or a player, he really doesn't care. I'm going to go with one that might not be super scary, but I just don't really get it. It kind of terrifies me. I grew up a Cal fan in all sports. Stanford's mascot, the tree. It's a person just not really with a full suit on, just kind of running around with some leaves on.
You're afraid of a tree? You were a Boy Scout, Rob.
I was a Boy Scout, so, I don't know.
Troop 14.
Troop 14,
and you're afraid
Rob.
of trees.
Don't go camping. You're going to see a lot of those out there.
Yeah. Well. Okay. Good. Third tweet. What do you have for us, Bob?
All right. So keeping with the Sparky theme, ASU Golf just moved into their beautiful new course at Papago Golf Course. Sparky, he took the day off and he's working on a short game, channeling his inner Phil Mickelson, Sun Devil alum. All right, guys, so you got a Sunday, you got a day to yourself. What's more relaxing for you? A day on the range or a day at the batting cages?
Bro, the day on the range and the course for sure. Like the batting cages, I look at it's like work. It's like a physical activity. Playing golf, it doesn't have to be. It's just kind of nice, relaxing. Yeah.
Because of that, I'm going to go with the batting cages. I like to get a little workout in, swing the bat a little bit, pretend that I'm
on your relaxation day.
Yeah, I like to get a workout when I have some time off.
See, Rob, I would see you want to channel your inner Happy Gilmore. I would see you on the range more in the batting cages.
I think I'd be a little more like Hunter Bishop, getting some of my left-handed swings out.
That's not a bad choice either. Yeah. All right, guys, that's all I got for social media.
Yeah, Bobby, appreciate it. Great tweets as always. Well, over the years, we've had some great Pac-12 athletes too, and our William Rydell has more with this week's Impact.
Thanks, guys. Pac-12 athletes have been on fire as of late. or at least former Pac-12 athletes. A win at the Masters on Sunday for Tiger Woods, who played at Stanford for 2 years, was the culmination of one of the greatest comeback stories in sports history. Woods won the Masters at 43 years old, and the only golfer older than Tiger to win golf's most prestigious event was Jack Nicklaus, who won the 1986 Masters when he was 46. Before the win on Sunday, Woods had dealt with several issues spanning many years, both on and off the course. His play had been hindered by numerous operations to repair a failing back. In 2010, a 7-year marriage ended in divorce, and less than 2 years ago, Woods was hit with a DUI near his home in South Florida. But Tiger pushed past all of that on his way to a 5th green jacket. And Woods wasn't the only Pac-12 athlete making a splash last Sunday. Former Sun Devil Phil Mickelson was 5 under after the first full day of action. Outside of golf, another former ASU athlete, Desiree Linden, finished 5th at this year's Boston Marathon on Monday. After overcoming an icy rain in 2018, she became the first American woman to win the race in 33 years. In addition, Monday was also Jackie Robinson Day. At UCLA, Jackie earned varsity letters in 4 sports: baseball, basketball, football, and track. Robinson would go on to be the first African American to play in the majors, breaking countless social and racial barriers. The Pac-12 may not be experiencing its brightest days right now, but one thing is for certain: the resiliency and determination of the athletes it produces has never been in question. Back to you guys at the desk.
Well, it's spring, and you know what that means. Well, maybe you don't. It's beach volleyball season, and ASU's women's team is entering the Pac-12 championship on a high after winning the Kingsville Beach Bash last week. Our Reed Harmon and Griffin Peters matched up with a couple of the Sun Devils this week in a longer package that we'll have for you later this week, but here's a sneak peek you can catch right now.
We're in Tempe, where ASU Beach Volleyball is having their most successful season to date, and a lot of that credit comes from Ali Ocaro and Ashley Wentz, the top pair for ASU Beach Volleyball, and today we're going to be seeing them. We're going to put them to the test.
Cat. Here's Ashley. Here. Cross your angle.
Oh, yeah.
Straight up.
Line.
Nice. Nice job.
So you guys came into the season, won 12 straight matches, was named Pac-12 Player of the Week for the first time in this program's history. So how do you guys keep that consistency?
Yeah, and definitely I think both being 5th years, our experience just handling the pressure of performing well. Like, we both played on teams that have done really well in seasons, and so it's something that you get used to over the years, that kind of pressure.
From Ashley Wentz and Ali Ocaro, I'm Reed Harmon, and this is Cronkite Sports.
Again, you can catch the whole package on CronkiteSports.com. Well, now it's time for our favorite time of the week. It's the way it is. You probably know the drill by now. Me and Rob will ask each other a couple questions. The winner will get to read a monologue. Rob, you ready to go?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Okay, lots of golf talk on this show. A lot of ASU alums are on the PGA Tour, so if you could pick one of them to play with, who would it be?
Right now, I would want a little day and a round with Phil Mickelson. I've already said on this show I'm a lefty. I'd like to learn more about my left-handed swing, get around with Phil. I think that'd be good for me.
Yeah, you need to learn a lot about your swing to get good. I'll say John Rahm, an interesting guy from Europe, was really successful at ASU, successful as a pro now. I think it'd be interesting to be with him for a day.
Okay, Jack, who's going to be a better professional athlete, Lugens Dort or Hunter Bishop?
This is tough. Dort, very good, showed a lot of promise his freshman year, but I'm going to say Hunter Bishop. I think skill set wise, he's a little bit closer to being able to go into the pro ranks and have success right away, so I'll go with the ASU baseball star.
I'm going to go with Lugens Dort, actually. He's got that same raw athleticism that they both contain, but I think that Lugens Dort has the potential to maybe be a starter in the NBA, maybe not that, but I think he's got so much potential, you don't really know what you can unlock if you get him on your team.
Yeah, well, I think we're going to agree on this one. Tim Anderson, you probably saw this on the White Sox, had an iconic bat flip after a home run this week. It led to a brawl. He got suspended, all sorts of madness going on. But the question here, are you a pro bat flip guy or are you against it?
So I'm a pro bat flip guy, but the only thing about that is you got to be ready to take whatever the pitcher's going to do. The pitcher gets to throw at you if you're going to spike the bat. Tim Anderson, amazing bat spike.
It was a toss.
He threw it with some vigor there. He got suspended after the benches cleared, and so did the pitcher. So you just got to take what's going to happen if you're going to do that.
Yeah, I'm in favor of it all. Bat flips, hockey celebrations, spiking the football. Even if I win the way it is, this pin's going to get thrown to across the studio. I love the celebration.
I really hope you don't win so you don't throw the pen across the room, but I think that there's a chance you might.
I think it's going to be
I
enticing.
don't know. I'm feeling pretty good, though, about myself.
Got to warm up the arm a little bit here to give this one a shot.
Don't warm up anything. You should.
No, it's just going to be ready to go. Look at that. Bang. Love it. Like Tony Reale right there. All right, well, this might be one of the slowest sports weeks of the year in college athletics, but it's also one of the most important for its legislative body. The NCAA's Division I Council met this week, the place where all rule changes to D1 sports are decided. Predictably, almost no one walked away satisfied. In basketball and football, a proposal that would have solved the increasing flow of graduate transfers was shot down. In baseball and softball, a proposition that would have allowed teams to add another full-time assistant coach was defeated. Even one of the seemingly positive decisions of the week, which gives players more freedom to transfer in some situations when a head coach leaves a school, will only apply to a microscopic proportion of athletes who experience coaching turnover. Now keep in mind, it isn't the NCAA itself that is voting on these rules, but rather the athletic directors and conferences of all Division I schools around the country. It serves as an important reminder. Rightfully so, the NCAA takes a lot of heat for many of the apparent injustices and inequalities it allows under its jurisdiction. But it isn't only the officials in Indianapolis who should be scrutinized. School administrators are often just as guilty of putting self-interest and financial considerations first. This is the week every year when they all come together and are given a chance to change, to lift the needs of the coaches and student athletes they represent above their own. Once again, on many of the big issues, it appears they chose not to. That's the way it is.
Well stated, Jack. Now we head into top plays. For number 3, I think we're going to take a trip out to the Diamond Phoenix Municipal Stadium. Back-to-back jacks for Arizona State. Trevor Halver, then it was Spencer Torkelson with an Oppo Taco, and then Hunter Bishop said, I am jealous. I want to get in on all this action. He had a mighty swing right here. And look at his bat drop. He knew it. He knew it real quick.
Yeah,
he felt like Tim Anderson there, Jack.
Almost Tim Anderson. It was a little more muted. But how about this? We're going to keep it with baseball. This is last night's game. Bottom of the 11th. Utah's got guys on base. If this ball gets down, the game's over. And Carter Aldretti lays out. That's over the shoulder. Diving effort. ASU would go on to score 7 runs in the next half inning to win the game. Huge play in right field.
It really was. Olivia Mahaffey, though, winning the Pac-12 individual championship. She was 4 strokes behind coming into the day. She wins it in a playoff round, as you see here in this putt. Really great job by Mahaffey. First one since 2016 as a Sun Devil to win the Pac-12 individual championship.
Yeah, really exciting this week. Lots of golf. I love it. I think sometimes the sport, it gets overlooked a little bit, but I'm a big golfer myself, and it was fun to talk about it on the show today.
It did not get overlooked today, and for one last time, for Jack Harris, I'm Rob Werner. The season finale next week on Cronkite Sports Live. Same time, same place next week. We hope you join us then.